the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Come on. Let's chit chat. Let's chit chat. Let's chit chat, sis. Hey, let's chit chat. Let's chit chat. Let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
So, Natasha, this is kind of gonna be a lead for you because I actually thought of this episode because I was looking at another episode Chauncey had sent me about a controlling relationship, and that's coming up soon. But staying affectionate is something I think we take for granted. You know, it's and I don't want to say because me and Keisha and Ben, we probably been in the marriage longer. Like, because we really old people, you young.
No, not really old.
We really old people. So, you know, I know we probably could speak a little bit more fluently on, you know, staying affectionate in a relationship that has been ongoing. Longevity is there. And, you know, we have no desire to go find some like my old neighbor used to say, some new strange. So we just trying to be happy with our life. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what my neighbor used to say. I was like, what the hell is she talking about? But, you know, that was, you know, her little saying. But Natasha, do you get people that come to you and say, I love my husband, I love my partner, but I just don't feel affectionate anymore?
Not necessarily that they don't feel affectionate. It's more of it's lost. And it's lost because at some point we stop putting in the effort.
Oh.
And we assume that it's just supposed to come naturally, but it doesn't. Like it's still work, and you take into consideration we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing.
Right.
So we have to choose to like get to know that person every single day. And some people just don't want to do that.
I'm probably guilty of that. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love my husband. He's like my right leg. You know what I mean? But I could tell you that I'm really complacent in a lot of things, and I'll say to myself, I got to do better. You know what I mean? I got to do better, and I think he does the same thing too. You know, I said in another episode, we are probably a really touchy-feely couple because we like to hold hands and things like that because that's both of our love languages. But some things you get complacent with, and I'll just put it out there. Like, for the older you get, like, to me, I love having sex, but sex is not the top of my leaderboard anymore. Like, I love going to bed at 9 o'clock now. I'm getting closer to you, Keisha. The hours are going backwards. I'm not up late anymore. But I think he likes it because now I'm going to bed closer to the time he goes to bed. Before, I would be rambling to 12 o'clock singing and all kinds of stuff. And he was like, do you ever think about going to bed early? You know, but, you know, I just like to be up. But I think that is changing because I just try to be, you know, more available to him at, you know, at nighttime instead of doing some unnecessary stuff. When I say I'm not working on the podcast, I'm not doing work, I'm just rambling around, I'm playing with my cat, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and it's midnight, you know. So I think it just makes him feel a certain way that I haven't put any regards. You see what I'm saying, Natasha? Into, you know, his routine too. You know what I mean? And we both get up super early. You know, he said, I don't know what gasoline you want, but you know, you can't be getting all your rest staying up. And I took that to heart. I think he was saying another message, but that's just me. So, Keisha.
Yes, staying attractive. So my question would be, if you lose the attraction, can it be regained?
Oh, that's
and how do you regain it?
It can be. However, you have to get through that initial conversation about the fact that it's gone, because now we bring up all these emotions and you don't love me no more and I'm ugly and you attracted to somebody else. Like, that's the avenue it goes down, which is not true. You have to be able to say what it is that you want, though. Like, you can't say, well, I've lost my attraction, and they're like, okay, well, what is it you would like? And then you have like the question mark face, like, you know, I don't know. So
have those answers, really think about it when you bring the conversation up.
Right, because you need to know what you want, because if the person is going to change or try to work with you, you have to give them something. It's not fair to say, you're not doing what I need you to do to keep me attracted. Now figure it out. What? That
Right.
that makes absolutely no sense. And they're gonna
That's
get
hurtful.
frustrated.
That's
Yeah, it's gonna
hurtful.
be frustrating, and then it's gonna be like a butting of heads. So to have that conversation, you have to know what it is that you want or what's lost, but also understanding that that person has changed. And there may be some things that used to gel that they either don't want to do anymore, or it doesn't do it for them anymore. And so there's that compromise of, just like you're saying, okay, I'm not going to bed at that time, but I could catch you a little bit earlier than normal. And there's like that I think the ability to compromise makes people feel a whole lot better, even if you can't meet each other exactly.
I agree. I really agree. Um, I get, I have pause when I ask this question, because I asked, but I just keep keeping it real. Okay, so I know I do this to my husband. I always think that my husband is not like physically attracted to me sometimes, because I feel like as you get older, things change. You know what I mean? You're not the same. You don't have the same appearance. So do you run into that, Natasha, where like my husband will say all the time, I wish you just be quiet, but there's something wrong with you, might need to see therapy, because why do you keep saying stuff? But I know how I felt when I was in my 20s and even my 30s and maybe 40s too. You see what I'm saying? So it's always like a self-esteem battle that, and most women have them. I don't care if they sit up there and lie and say they don't. That I know he ain't looking at the same person he's looking at when we was in our 20s. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes that makes you feel a certain way, because you just don't feel comfortable, in your skin. You're doing all this extra stuff and trying to, I only going to eat half of this potato chip because I don't want to have 10 pounds on me.
Just don't eat the potato chip.
Well, I know, but I just recently had this conversation as well, Kim, and I don't want to look like I did in my 20s. However, I want to look the best that I can at my age in my 50s.
Right.
So to me, it's like to help stay attractive is to do the things that your self-care and doing things that make you feel good and confident, to exude that to your partner.
That's
because I'm not going to be there. I don't. Oh, that's it is.
Good.
Oh, I don't want to look like that. But I want to look the best that I can at my age. I still want to do those things, be able to move, be able to exercise. I want to eat right. I want to look the best. I want to, I don't want to be frumpy and dress frumpy or outdated. I like to be stylish. So those things. And then I think the inner beauty, as far as not so much your outside, but if you're nice and you're caring and you're giving, that too,
right,
will lead to attraction.
Right.
Am I right? Am I going on the right path?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, she sure is. Yes, Keisha, you did that, because honestly, and because I'm just, which I absolutely love the clients that I call in, because I could be like my whole ass self with them. When they do approach me with that, my response is going to be, that's a you problem, right? Like if you're walking around here thinking, oh, you're not attracted to me, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, and they haven't said anything to you, and they're like, especially after having kids, like, we go through that phase of like, oh, but look at my body, look at my boobs, everything don't look right anymore. And it's because we have not come to terms with the fact that we are not that's not our body no more. We are not that person anymore. And a lot of times our partners have come to, like, they've come to Jesus with like, this is where we're at. This is what she is. I understand the transformation that she's gone through, and I appreciate it. I love it. Now you have some assholes that put the pressure on you, but that's another story for another time.
No, girl, that's a big one. That's a big one, because I know somebody living like that.
It is, but when we talk about the ones that understand, they'll come to us and be like, you realize you had a baby 6 weeks ago, right? Like, you do realize that. And it's us in our own heads, in our own minds, not liking what we see. Right. So that's an us problem, because then it gets frustrating and annoying for them when we're moping around, pulling at ourselves and look at this and look at that. And they like, yo, you got to go somewhere with that. I don't see those things that you're seeing when I look at you. and you bring them to the forefront, and now I'm noticing them, and now I know I don't like it, you know? So that's a us problem, and we really have to sit with ourselves and do that inner work to like who we are and what we are right now. That is what is attractive. That is what is sexy, is that confidence. And if it's not, and there's a shift and there's a change, that too is okay.
You said something that resonated with a reading that I saw this week, that it's the person, you know what I mean? It's the self that's having this internal war. I actually read about the story with this girl. She has MS. And you know, the changes MS brings, you know, just with any other debilitating disease. Her husband constantly was trying to motivate her that he was fine with, because she was having a lot of physical things that was happening. And what resonated me with that, her husband, was the constant motivation. What kind of made me feel a certain way about her is that I felt sorry for her, because she was fighting a disease, you know what I mean? No foul on her part. But on top of that, she was also creating an environment that was not the center of their relationship. You see what I'm saying, Natasha? She it was almost, I don't even know if it was deflecting, but it was something. Now a new issue is now arose from the constant pressure. You know what I mean? Now she's putting on her husband. Long story short, they broke up.
Yeah.
They broke up. And she was saying that she was so sorry how she just constantly put this pressure on her husband, and he was nothing like that. It wasn't, they didn't break up because somebody was unfaithful or anything like that. They broke up because it was just the constant pressure of, he was feeling like he was not giving her enough attention to make herself feel good in the time period where she struggled. You know what I mean?
And he never would have been able to.
Right. So, you know, I think that you hit on a good point. Self-worth and self-acceptance is really the root of being able to have I guess, the conjoint relationship, understanding that things are going to change. You know what I mean? And when I say this about
on both sides,
on both sides. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I'm telling you, let me tell y'all, this is going to sound gross, but I used to work in a nursing home. And when I used to see some of them older men, I used to say, please don't let my husband turn like that. But if he turned like that, then it's going to be what it's going to be. We may have to cover him up. But I was like, oh, I was like, oh my goodness. You know, I was younger than I'm just playing. But, you know, things start to hang on them too. You know what I mean?
That's why it can't be all about the physical, because that physical will change. It will change. And it's like, do I still want to roll over and be like, hey, boo?
Which leads to a next question. Can you have a relationship and not have the physical?
You can. That is a mutual understanding, because you have some people that are just like the best of friends. And it's just like, you get me, I get you. Like, I wouldn't want to share like my worst day with anyone else. And I'm okay with that. But again, we always gonna go back to communication. Like, you have to have that conversation of, this is where we're at, so that the other person can decide if that's what they want to be a part of. Because if they say no, that's their prerogative. We can't make that decision for them. So it is possible. It's just if you want to do it or not.
So I'm going to say this much for what you said, Keisha. What happens, like, you know, in time, everything is going to change. But what about the person just give the hell up? And you know what I mean? And they're just like sloughing around and just, you know, looking like, you know,
smelly.
Well, you know what? Honestly, if you think about the pandemic, that happened during the pandemic, though. Like, we in the house, we ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody gonna see me. Listen, you gonna get what you get. We on day 1,655 of being stuck in the house together.
But that's all cool. But it's fresh running water in that bathroom every day. You gotta use it. You gotta use it. Because I don't care if you got on clothes that look a hot mess. Smells is a
As
turn
long
off.
as you
Yeah,
smell good.
smells is a definite turn
Well,
off.
it's a turn off. But washing your ass is not going to be negotiable. I mean,
But y'all have to understand that that is probably a red flag for something else. Like if someone just stopped taking care of themselves and stopped showering, now we
Don't
got
brush
to
your
be
teeth.
curious and be like, okay, there's
Yeah.
this is not you, and there is something that is going on, and we need to figure out what's going on, because a lot of times there's those demons, there's that depression and all that coming in, where it's just like, I just don't care. I just don't care. And they've lost that motivation. And it's like, oh, we got to take you to somebody, because
soon as the door got open from COVID, lots of people was going out the door and leaving what was in the house there, because did you hear about the COVID breakups? I mean, people were just done.
It was because, and I think that's when I started getting a lot of couples, is because I thought I knew you. I thought I knew you, but now I liked you. I thought I liked you. I thought I knew what you were about, and now I'm with you 20. Because we've never had to be stuck with somebody 24/7. Yeah. Like we'll take some vacations, but it's like I'm going to work. We never get to see the true person, and we were stuck in the house. And some people were like, "Oh, I don't like you."
And that's reality, y'all. That is reality. Like that's I would say during COVID, I really enjoyed my husband, because he worked in one room, I worked in the other one, but it was the chance that I got to see what he really did all day, because I wasn't going out, to work. And then we start, like, the communication level actually heightened. But then I was getting coworkers was telling me, I'd be glad when the building opened. I was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, because I'm like,
so I like being at home, but it was a different reason. I discovered more so myself and try to find things that I want to accomplish, and that I didn't have to go to work. So I kind of focused on me.
And that was a good thing. Wasn't it a good thing? Because you get in touch with yourself.
Yeah, without saying, focusing on being together as, partners, so much focus on that. Focus on, what can I learn? What can I do?
Yeah.
Better that I have this free time.
Yeah.
Being in the house.
I quit my job in the pandemic, so I was like, you know what? This is not. Bye. I'm gonna go ahead and go.
But look at your business and stuff now. You know what I mean? I think it was God's destiny. I mean, not for people to lose their lives in a pandemic, but I just say some things happen because God has destined us to go through it. And you got a outstanding, needed outstanding business that, hey, you could do it from your house. You ain't got to have nobody come to you. Long as it's a Zoom, Messenger, link, whatever, they can zoom on into your home and get it. So, I just think that this is a neat topic.
I have another. Have you had people to come and say, "Well, my partner just don't appreciate me anymore"?
Oh yeah.
Or they don't compliment. Well, we talked about compliment, but really they don't appreciate the things that I do, the things that I bring to the table for our family.
Oh,
anymore.
Absolutely.
And they're not turned on. I mean,
So now they're turned off.
That's up there. That appreciation, that's probably one of the biggest ones. That's like a very, very common one of, you don't show me appreciation, you take advantage of me. You have kids, it's like the kids taking advantage of me, you taking advantage of me. Don't nobody care what I do. I'm gonna run away and see what y'all do while I'm gone, right? So it's just about speaking, because a lot of times they do appreciate it, they just don't say anything, because it's like, well, I mean, you like, just like love, sometimes I love you, like, why I gotta tell you every day? Like, you look cute, why I gotta tell you every time you put the outfit on you look cute? But it's like, depending on what your like, if you're a words of affirmation person, that matters. But if you don't understand that verbiage, then you can't tell them. It's just like I need these things, like, it makes me feel good, and they don't understand. But if you're able to say, those words of affirmations, absolutely, they feed my soul. Like, they keep me motivated and they keep me going, to show up for y'all every single day. that sounds a little bit different than and be like, why you don't ever tell me I'm cute? Why you don't ever say thank you? It comes across a lot different depending on how you communicate it.
That's
big. So what I'm hearing is say it in a way that the person can understand,
Mm-hmm.
and then whoever's listening that they're speaking to, give it back to them. Mm-hmm. It's just give them what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you don't know how, then let's get the resources how, because everyone's love language is not the same.
Right.
So we shouldn't be giving the love. Like I'm all about gifts. Everybody don't want gifts. That's like, figure out something else. And I had to learn that. Like I had to figure out, well, how do I love you? And how can I get the help and the support to love you properly without being in my feelings about it? Because, you know, in the very beginning, you just want to be in your feelings. Well, I'm doing the best that I can.
Of course.
You still don't like it. You don't appreciate it. But that's where I have to step out of the ego. Like, it's not about us all the time. It's about how can I do for this person, just like it's not about them all the time. It's about how they can do for us. So, you know, it's just a lot of figuring it out, because we don't know what we don't know. But we also have a lot of resources to be able to get that information instead of sitting at home stumped, rolling your eyes and being petty every single day.
So, Natasha, do you get like the males coming to you saying that the females are not giving them positive affirmation or making them feel that they're wanted?
They don't come to me. Usually I've only had maybe one or two couples that the male initiated the consultation. Mm-hmm. But it'll be like the woman. But eventually, because you're not going to just sit here in this session and not say anything. Like, I know you have feelings. So I'm very big on making them talk about, it's not just about her. Like, what do you want? And they will say, like, I don't feel appreciated for what I do. There are some, when it comes to finances, it's like, I mean, I know I said that she could stay at home and work, but like, I'm struggling right now and I would like for her to help. I don't know how to tell her that. You know, so there are times where they want more, but because we have this toxic masculinity and all of that, it's a lot that goes unsaid. And so I recognize that, even though, you know, the male is not my main person, mm-hmm. when you show up with me, you're also going to have a voice, because I know there's things that you need and there's things that you want. And so, like, let's just talk about it and let's start making solutions. I'm very solution focused. Let's talk about it. Let's start putting stuff out there and trying it, mm-hmm. and see if it's a yes or no, some resistance, mm-hmm. so that we can figure out the next best step.
Well, I hope everybody listening to you today, Natasha, holds you up, because I think, yeah, no, yes. I'm serious.
Y'all better call me, because I'm getting full. I'm getting a little to my max.
And some people don't have no time to waste. You know what I mean? Put the pride aside and pick up the phone, send the email or whatever. Because mm-hmm. I say this because I'm like, I'm not even in the session. I feel like I was in the session today. Like, you know, mm-hmm. don't you do that, and you need to admit when you do this and you do that. But because we all have our areas that we need to, you know, focus on and work with, because it's not one-sided. And I think that's the biggest point of not looking at it just from that perspective, but looking at it from self, you know what I mean? Self-identify, you know, some of the things that you need to work on that may be the root cause of what's going on. But I mean, you hit it on point. Keisha, you got any more questions? Because I know you keep them down.
Well, what two things? Have you heard? What if, your partner, you are motivated, but they're lazy? Like, they have nothing going on for themselves. Is that a try? Does that normally happen? Do you hear that? Also, it was something that Kim just said, admitting when you're wrong. You never admit when you're wrong. And then it's like a turn on. That's the last thing I want to say.
No, but that's deep. I'm gonna go hide under the thing.
So for
we're usually right. Go ahead.
It's so funny that you bring that up because I had a new couple, and that's one of the things that they're struggling with is wanting to be right. And at some point, you can't want to be right. Like, you need to be listening to actually hear what's being said and not to respond, and be able to humble yourself when you're wrong. Like, that's really all it is humbling it. And it's okay, well, if you don't,
And
y'all gonna keep arguing. Y'all gonna keep
you can't defend it.
Well, so there's you
No.
have to know where you're coming
Yeah.
from, though, Keisha.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know, is this a battle that I really want to try to win? Right? Like, is it something that if I win this, it's gonna be this giant change in my life? Or is it just gonna send us down another hole and another hole? Is it gonna make my partner feel like they're not being heard? Like, the only reason I come at them is to be right, and that they don't feel safe to come talk to me, because anytime they come and talk to me, they just want to be right. So I'm just gonna keep this to myself, which then leads to resentment.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they get to me, there's so much resentment and so much stuff under the rug. Like, I gotta go all the way back of things that have not been said, and they sit there like, well, why you didn't say anything? Because they don't feel safe. So it's either build safety for your partner or be right. Sometimes you're gonna be right, but if that's your end goal,
Motivation, then
then that's a problem. You have to go work on yourself. And the lack of motivation, my first question would be, was this what you saw after the honeymoon?
In the beginning.
After the honeymoon. And the honeymoon phase is about 2 years, where we putting our best foot forward, and it's cute, and we in love, and we giggling and all that, but you can still see the red flags. So you got to know who it is that you're getting with, because 9 times out of 10, they were not motivated, and they were not doing anything when you first got with them and you accepted it. Don't wish and hope and see the potential. That word potential. we always have that conversation about the potential. That's who they were. And if it's something that shift, again, that's a red flag of what's going on. There's something deeper that you're not sharing, because you were motivated, and now all of a sudden you just dropped everything and you don't do anything. Like, there's a reason behind that.
Something else going on.
And if they don't want to do the work, that's different. Like, if you bring it to them and you're like, I noticed this, you should go talk to somebody, you should go to the church, whoever it is that they feel comfortable talking to. But if they don't want to do it, you can't make someone do something they're not ready to do. So then you have to make the decision for yourself. Do I want to be patient and see what could happen if you're going to get your help? Or do I just decide that for my sanity and my well-being, it's best for me to step away?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to jump on, because when you said that, Keisha, when you said that, I just was like, I thought about me and my husband. We are totally polar opposites. Like, I know sometimes he think I need medication because I'm just, I'm just always like going. But that's just that's just me, And then I think about my husband. My husband is so laid back. He just, he will be, I'm good with this. I don't need to go do this, Kelly. I'm good with that, But I'm gonna help you whatever you want to do. You keep on doing 1,000 jobs, and I'll do my 5 over here. They keep things floating, and I'm not worried.
Can I ask you a question?
Can
I ask you a question?
Sure.
So a lot of times people will be like, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But is it a possibility, and I'm just going to stick this in your ear and let you do what you want with it. Is it a possibility that you run and you go and you go and you go, because if you're actually quiet and still, there's a lot that comes up that you would rather be distracted from than to sit with and deal with?
Probably so. Yeah, probably so. Sometimes I try to put myself into this laid back position where, me and him are rolling at the same pace, and I'm like, okay, then I'll have to deal with other things that doesn't even have to do with me and him. You know what I mean? So let me go ahead and create the life that I want to have over here. So I'm going to keep on moving, you know what I mean?
Right.
And really, because that's what keeps, isn't that keeping your sanity? You know what I mean? Because some things, Now, I'm a person that I will deal with all urgency. You know what I mean? But some things are not urgent, but still need attention. You know what I mean? And I sometimes I think that, okay, I'm gonna leave that over here because he can get that one. I'm over here. I'm gonna fight the fires. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna bring some other stuff in because I can handle that. You see what I'm saying? And I think sometimes he comes to me in a way like, I wish you would take the time to slow yourself down and take a breather just so you could be in a more relaxed mode, right? I'm like, but I feel happy the way I do things, you know, and I try to explain that to him, and he was like, okay, as long as you feel happy, you don't come back around and be like, why you didn't do this and do that and do that, you know, because there was a period I used to do that to him. You know what I mean? I need you to do this and this and this because why can't you help me do this? And then I had to do the self-identifying, like, that's not him and that's never been him. But he has never lacked in supporting anything I want to do. Now, if I want to run and do this and do that, I know he's going to support me. But that doesn't mean he has to have the same tread that I have. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I think because we are polar opposite, we're like a magnet. You know what I mean? He knows what to expect from me, and I know what to expect from him. And I'm good with that because it was a period where I felt like I wasn't good with that. And I'm not going to make him something that he's not because he is the person that I saw from the beginning. And that's hits on to the point what you were saying. But that's my feel about him. He probably hear this and say, you're right, Kim. I know you doing this. But, you know, I mean, everybody's life is like a mountain. When we have our ups and downs. You know what I mean? It is unrealistic to say that everything is peachy creams all the time. That is not true. You know what I mean?
Not true.
You know, it's. I mean, I'm in it for the long game because ain't nobody coming in my house taking my things, and ain't no he ain't going to nobody's house and give my things away. So that's what I'm telling y'all. Anybody knowing or wondering, we not doing that. We in it for the long haul. Like Chauncey say, I'm gonna put blood in and blood out. That's how it's going. So, you know, I'm happy in our life, and I'm glad that God brought him to me. But you know, we're gonna go through our struggles together. Because Natasha, if things get rough, I'm calling you up and be like, Natasha, and I'm being you. Don't beat me up because you already see my crazy ways. But I'm just saying, I'm never going to put out there that I'm not willing to talk to a professional ever.
Right.
Because I say this for anybody listening. Bring your own self-esteem down when it comes down, or your own pride. Let me use that word. Bring your own pride down, because if that means more to you, do the work to keep it. That's that's my final thoughts. If you want it, do the work to keep it. If you don't, get a good lawyer and get out of it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be honest, because don't stick around with somebody you just don't feel like you can grow with them and love them, and they can't give you the same thing back. That's just I don't believe in BSing. But if you know that you gonna put the work in, they're gonna put the work in. You know, do the work. You know what I mean? That's why there's people like you, Natasha, professionals to help. And I'm so thankful that I always say this. I'm so thankful for you because you have. This is the feedback that I get. I mean, this is off topic. Sorry, y'all. This is the feedback that I get. You know, people love just your demeanor and your straightforward answers, and you know, you're
say it in a calm tone where
calm tone. They can connect with you. You know what I mean? I mean, you just the sister girl sitting on there and helping them out. So I'm so fortunate that you're here.
I appreciate that. Believe it or not, I used to struggle with that because I am like a blunt person, and I'm like a say it like it is. And I used to always feel like, okay, I can't bring this to my clients. But I recognize that when I do that, I call in the people that can handle it. So I have really amazing clients where we can kiki, and I can be like, but now you know better. You know that. Because they'll come in and be like, I didn't want to tell you that I did this because I knew what you was going to say. And so I enjoy having that. I enjoy being able to be me with my clients and be able to have those conversations and create that space, because it's not a lot of, especially for Black women, it's not a lot of sex there. Well, we'll say therapists in general that look like them, but also a sex and intimacy therapist where they can have those types of conversations with someone that looks like them, that can meet them on their level and have the same language. So I appreciate that. And I think that's why I call in the people that I do, because like, they'd be like, girl, I see you. I know you're having a bad day. We just gonna sit here today. That's fine.
That's right.
But the next time I see you, I'm gonna need you to have it a little together, okay?
Well, that's right. I know that's right. Outstanding, Natasha. Keisha,
Yes.
what is your final thought?
So what I got out of it is to be crystal clear about what you need, your needs, and just communicate it. That's it. That's all.
It's simple, to the point, and that's the truth.
Communication will always save you. Always. When in doubt, talk it out.
Do you have any final thoughts, Natasha?
I do not. This was really good. I enjoyed it. Relationships are hard as hell, and we have to always remember. I guess I do have a final thought. We have to remember that we are still individuals coming together. Like, you're still a person. We're still an individual choosing to come together with another individual, and there's a lot of history that comes with us when we bring it together. Absolutely. And so we just have to be cognizant of that. Like, we have to pay attention. Like, we are not the same. We don't think the same. We don't talk the same. We don't deal with things the same. And so there is that giving grace to that and putting in the work to understand this other person. If that's what you want to do. Again, if you turn over one day and look over there and it's like, I can't do this. Now it's a whole different conversation.
Right. Especially if you ain't washing. It's a whole different conversation. Whole different conversation. Thank you, ladies. And this was an outstanding episode as usual. So I just want to say again, Natasha, thank you. Keisha, thank you. This was something that I think I had kind of teeter-totter on having this because it kind of conjoins on other episodes, but it was intimate, to the point, and I know a lot of people will definitely enjoy this episode. So join us every Wednesday when we drop a new episode. You can catch us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. So joining me tonight is
Keisha
and Natasha.
And I'm your girl, Kimmy. So have a great week on purpose, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
That was a really good show, y'all. So I really think that we touched on a lot of points. We probably have to have, some follow-up episodes on this, because it was a couple things that we talked about, like, just the idea of commitment, self-esteem, identifying for yourself, things that, branch off into different types of episodes. What do you think, Keisha?
Well, I want to go back to our episode about finance. And I was speaking about when I was in church and I was listening to a pastor, and we're really making a covenant of when he said he'll never be broke. I said the same thing, and I started making steps and doing steps to begin building a savings. And I was stating that it started off small, and then I started doing other things too. However, once you learn those things and you do pretty good, you always want to be forever growing, forever learning, and to build more. And so that's why I'm so glad that we had our financial expert, on the porch to help us, because we always, even though we know some things, we don't know everything. And so it's very important for us to continue to grow. And and that's what I want to do as well. So I never want our audience to think, oh, she knows this. Yes, I know some things. Yes, I've grown.
Just
some
like
things,
they know some things.
We want to forever keep growing. And thank you, Natasha, for bringing on our guests.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And that was a very this episode was very enlightening. It was very enlightening. So hats off to you, Natasha, because you the girl. Any final thoughts for you, Natasha?
I just enjoyed this. I hope that, there's not just a listening to listen, but a listening to put action behind everything that we do. Like, it's cool to listen to a podcast and and they so funny. But like, when we talk about stuff, we want you to actually do the things that we
do it.
We need to do
to learn and grow. to learn and grow.
That's
Right.
more important than anything, because just like that is so pertinent. You can listen to this, but you know, the whole goal is bringing experts on here and even giving I'll say our opinion, just like you say, Keisha, is for you to take it and utilize it in your life where it is needed. You know what I mean? If it's not needed, you know, hats off to you. But I think we need a little bit of something from somebody else besides ourselves. You know, that's the biggest thing. Remember when you said that, Natasha? Being able to listen, so not just talking to respond, but talking after you have listened to, you know, that's what I think we're here for. You know what I mean? Listen to what things that we're saying. We're not saying we the end all to all, but just being able to have somebody else's perspective may help you, you know, find your way. And I hope that's the goal. So hats off to y'all. All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, everybody have a good week on purpose. And joining me tonight is
Keisha.
Natasha.
And I'm your girl, Kimmy. Take care, and we'll see you next week.